Hi YouTube, so it's me T, and for today's video I'm back with another the tea with T, and I wanted to go over the tea of the year basically. So the end of the year came and I've been home this week will be my second week. Last week I was moving back in, so I didn't want to make a video about moving stuff if I can't show y'all, because I gotta actually physically move stuff and move stuff around. But I'm back, I'm comfortable now. So I have a few updates before I get started with this video. So I have a 3.1 GPA and I have a job for the summer and an internship. So your girl's gonna be making them coins, she's gonna be making them money moves. But for today's video, I'm gonna break down many topics that usually are asked to me by like siblings or my cousins because they're interested about college. So without further ado, let's get on with this video. Okay, so the first topic I wanted to talk about is roommates. So when I first did my application, we were seniors, so everybody was like, well, what if you get a crazy roommate? What if your roommate's dirty? All this and that. You don't have to worry about that. Honestly, because you're all pretty much going to be around the same age, you guys can communicate with each other and just be like, hey, I don't appreciate when you do this, can you do that? Just communication is key. Y'all gonna be living together for a whole year. As far as crazy roommate stories go, I don't feel like I had anything where I could go into depth and be like, yeah, that made me totally want to go home, it ruined the vibe. Like, of course I was homesick in the beginning, but after, like, I'll say September, I was pretty much comfortable, because then I got in the swing of things. I had friends, I had grades going, I had assignments, so basically the ball was starting to run, so I was okay. And plus I had went in there with a friend, so it wasn't like I was starting completely from scratch, but essentially it's just me and that other friend. And then we slowly made other friends. But as far as roommates go, I had the very best experience. They were amazing. Like, we moved in, we chatted, we made, the roommate agreement, which basically states like, as a suite, we all agreed to do such X, Y, and Z. So for the first week, they put together my outfits, and that was really sweet of them because I didn't know how to dress, y'all. I spent, I'd say 90% of my life wearing uniform. So it's like, okay, now that you don't have to wear a uniform every single day, what are you comfortable wearing? What are you not comfortable wearing? Do you want to, like, how do you want to express yourself? Because in uniform, we couldn't wear ripped jeans, we couldn't wear crop tops, we couldn't wear tight stuff. So most of my stuff was baggy or like winter clothes, which you can't really express yourself in a weekend and figure out what your style is. I still don't feel like I have an idea. I just know I like bright colors on my complexion, and I just like a whole bunch of colors like on my top, and then like maybe a light wash on my jeans, and then for my shoes maybe something simple but with like maybe a spark of color, but not too much going on. So I say roommates, they're the best experience ever. I would recommend getting a dorm the first year just so you can start off making friends, because honestly everyone's gonna have a different schedule, so you're gonna run into them at some point in time. And plus it's like, with my experience, I was able to get like a older sister experience. Like, okay, well, if you don't know how to do your hair, we're gonna show you how to do it, and then you're gonna try to do it on your own. And occasionally I did pretty okay, and then occasionally I looked a hot mess. But that's neither here nor there. I'd recommend the roommate experience. So another topic is classes. So I'm gonna say this right now off the rip: do not sign up for an 8 a.m. class, do not sign up for a 6:30 to 9 class. Just don't do it. Don't. So the reason I say at 8 a.m. is because, okay, basically I do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. That's what I'm used to. I might switch it up later on, but for right now I feel like I get the most in 50-minute classes 3 times a week. So at 8 a.m. in the morning, that means you have to get up at like at least 7. Because I give myself 30 minutes to get ready, and then the other 30 minutes, you gotta travel to there. Our campus is really small, so I don't know if you would like be able to handle just getting all this done in 1 hour at, say, I don't know, Georgia State, Georgia Southern and stuff. A bigger, wider campus where everything is not so walking distance. The most walking you have to do is like 15 minutes on my campus. But to constantly do that, I feel like that is too much. I don't feel like my mind or my brain is up at 7 a.m. constantly able to do that. The reason I say don't do a 6:30 to 9 class is because I don't feel like mentally that is a good thing unless you just have to. Now, if you have, special cases, that's fine. But as far as I go as a freshman, I wouldn't do no 6:30 to 9. That's a little ridiculous and kind of crazy. And plus, it's going to be dark outside. And I mean, you have security and lights on your campus, but I don't recommend it because I don't feel like that's all that safe. If it's just going to be honest with me. For my schedule, last semester I had like a 3-hour break. So let's say I do 2 classes and then I'll have my 3-hour break, which I'll do either homework, go back to my dorm, eat, sleep, whatever case may be. And then I'll have my other 2 classes and then I'll be done for the day. Then for this semester, I think I gave myself like the spring semester, I gave myself like a 1-hour break because I was like, for 3 hours, I'm bored. I'm not really doing anything. Like, I want to make sure I'm getting the best I can out of my time. I don't want to feel like I'm wasting time. So my 1-hour break, I will have lunch after my first class, which started at 11, which means to me it's late, but because I'm a freshman, when you apply for classes, sometimes the earlier classes, they're already full or you just can't get them. So I think for this semester, I still start kind of late, but it'll be from like 11 to, I think, 3:30 at the latest. As far as classes go, if you are a morning person, by all means, sign up for morning classes, just not the 8 a.m. like I said. And if you are an afternoon person, don't wait all the way until like 6:30 because then your whole day done been slept away. And just make sure you have those breaks so you can remember, okay, I have time to eat, I have time for classwork, I have time for other things. Okay, so another thing that's really important is the social activities. So I get this question a lot, like, oh, how are the parties? How is this and that? Okay, after it, I'm just gonna tell you, we don't have Greek life right now, and the parties, most of them are like arts and craft activities. Sometimes they're like, water sports and stuff like that. Like my first week, we were roasting marshmallows and tie-dyeing t-shirts, so that was a whole bunch of fun. And we also have poetry slams, which I do enjoy a lot. Like that's where you get most of my performances from. And what I would recommend socially is signing up for classes that are like surrounding your major, like off the rip. Like I do film, so of course I would need to take the most basic film class, so you can already start making friends in that area. And then on top of that, sign up for clubs that are also things that you're getting into, because you're in a new environment, you're starting to you want to meet new people, and sometimes it's hard to like start off and you don't really know where to begin. So if you guys already have something in common, like let's say my friend does game development because she loves to play video games, that's already something to talk about. Like, oh, so what type of games do you like? I like Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed or something like that. I like arts and crafts, and I like talking about cartoon shows and diversity and all that. And that builds your group. You can network it. You can learn to network yourself, not just for YouTube, not just for your major, but you can also build a circle that feels like a family. So it makes it easier for you not to be so homesick, because that was honestly my issue. I didn't feel like I was at home until I got comfortable with myself and being in my new surroundings. Which brings me to my next topic. It's about finding yourself. That was really, really hard for me because, again, I wore a uniform 90% of my life. And then on top of that, most of my friends I've known since middle school. We went to the same high school, so we've been together for, what is that, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. So you go from being with the same people for 7 years to now you're starting blank. So it's just like, okay, well, I totally know myself, which was my initial thought. But then you're in this bigger environment where now it's you and 1,000 other people who probably can do the same thing as you. So you're just like, not insecure, I don't want to say it like that, but more so you're questioning, okay, well, what makes me amazing? What makes me great? What am I good at? What can I bring to the table? And what can I bring to the conversation? And that takes some time. Like, it's gonna be times where you don't feel 100% confident, you don't feel 100%, secure about yourself, but that's gonna come and pass. You're gonna learn more and more about yourself. You're in a new environment, you're in a new space, so of course there's gonna be more to learn about yourself. And besides, I know I'm only 19, so in 19 years, I mean, you're so used to everyone telling you, do this, do that. So now it's like, okay, well, you're making the decisions, the executive decisions of for yourself in your life. So you need to figure out what you want to do and what you like to do. Not because someone else said so, or not because you think this is going to look good. Another thing about, like, college, the infamous freshman 15, it gets us all. So I was sort of made aware at orientation about the freshman 15 because I was like, at first, what are you talking about? I never heard of that. So basically, people try to either lose a whole bunch of weight, but the diets are like illogical per se, or they'll all of a sudden gain a whole bunch of weight. Because, okay, with meal plans, because I live on a dorm, I have to have like the most expensive meal plan. Makes sense though, because I'm there all the time. So imagine having free food 7 days a week, basically, at your fingertips. So basically, if I'm not in class or if I didn't want to go to class, then I could just pretty much eat all day. Then from that, you also have places like Uber Eats, DoorDash. I can't post. No, yeah, Postmates. Different little apps and sites where you can order food, or just places around the campus. So it's just like even more tempting because you're like, I got the money. I don't feel like cooking. I don't feel like buying groceries. So yeah, like for me personally, I live in Atlanta. So when I got to Gwinnett and now we have a Steak and Shake up the street, I'm like, Steak and Shake? Like, let's have Steak and Shake. Like, that was my go-to meal because basically they have a 4 for $4 and it was pretty much enough to fill you, like even more than Wendy's in my opinion. I would get the triple steak burger. Yeah, the triple steak burger, and then it would come with a cookie, a fry. You could get an extra side, and occasionally I would get a milkshake. But getting the milkshake, get that during happy hour from 2 to 5. So it was very tempting. I don't feel like I completely freshman 15, and I don't feel like I completely didn't. I feel like it was sort of in the middle because I wasn't working my freshman year. So that means I had a little money, but I didn't have enough to go crazy with. I went crazy, however, in the other direction of getting clothes because it was like I never not had to wear a uniform. So it's like shopping and thrifting. Like, it wasn't just regular stores that I was going to. It wasn't like, oh, let's go to the mall every single day. That wasn't what I was doing. There's this thrift store called Park Avenue. I mentioned this in my last video, and that's what really set me up. So they would have these days where the whole store is 50-cent day, the whole store is 25-cent day, the whole store is 75-cent day, $1, whatever. So in my head, I was like, okay, that's only 50 cents, that's only $1. So in the beginning, I would go on 50-cent day because my off days were Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I would spend $5 a week, basically dedicated to me getting clothes. That kind of racks up pretty fast. And then on top of that, if I wasn't going to Park Avenue, then I was going to the thrift store. And I feel like that was my freshman 15 versus food. Okay, another question I receive a lot about is like, how did you decide on your major? And for my major, if I haven't said this already, I major in cinematography and production, which is all cool and stuff. Because I did theater for 4 years and then a semester this year, so I was pretty much already inclined with doing something in the theater field. It was just more specifically, okay, I want to do something with theater, and film seemed like an avenue to within theater. So I more specifically picked production just because I'm on YouTube. So why not learn how to better work the camera? How can you angle to get different effects and such like that? Um, I also never mentioned this before. I'm thinking about changing my major. It's only slightly though. So instead of just doing production, which is pretty cool, I actually want to do like the writing aspect because that's what I also like to do. I like to write stories. I like to create these worlds different than regular day-to-day life. So when it comes to picking your major, don't feel like because I picked it in the first place, that's what I now have to stick to. I'm a freshman, so I'm not deep in my major. I'm just getting started. So at any time, if you feel inclined to change it, just go ahead and do it. It's really not that serious. It's not that bad. Even if you're like feel like you're deep in your major, do something because you enjoy it versus because it's going to make you money. Money can come from anywhere. Money is constantly coming in and out of your pockets. So you might as well do something that you enjoy because in the long, sorry, I can't talk right now. In the long term, you're going to make more money because you enjoy it and because you're passionate about it. So you're going to put more energy into it to create something else. You see what I'm saying? Doesn't that make sense? Versus you doing something, oh, well, this is going to make me money, or this is going to look good on a job application. You can get a job anywhere, especially right now, because it's the summertime, so everybody's hiring. But just focus on what you enjoy, and if you don't know what major you want to have going in, that's okay too. You still have time to figure that out. You're still taking your basic core classes, so I think the first 2 years, if I'm correct. It depends on how many classes you're taking at a time. For me, I took 4 classes at a time, and now I'm about to take 5 because I'm going to try to, push myself. And then one of them is a walking class, so that's simple. Another question I get is, how do I know GGC was right for me? So for me, during the college process, it was kind of difficult because what I wanted to do was go out of state. I wanted to go to South Carolina, North Carolina, Alabama, Florida, basically out of Georgia, which is fine if you have it like that. But for me, it wasn't falling in my favor. And then I did some research after my friend and my mom's co-worker had brought up GGC, and I was like, okay, well, it isn't that far away from home. I still get what I need. I still get my independence, and I still am gonna work on my major and get, the on-dorm experience, because that's what we both discussed that would be best for me. So how I agreed to it finally was we went to orientation, and on orientation they walk you around the campus. They show you this are where the dorms are, these are the buildings where such and such is, this is the gym, this is the cafeteria. The cafeteria food was amazing. All that food is amazing until I'd say after the first semester, or by Thanksgiving, you're ready for regular food again. It didn't bother me in the beginning, but it was kind of like, okay, it's a small campus, I'm not that far away from home, I'm doing good, and I'll have this experience, and I'm not going to have to start from scratch. And I won't have to pay out of state tuition. Sounds like a good hustle to me. So that's how I settled on GGC. Another question I get is like, stuff that goes on at parties, like, I guess the drinking, the smoking, like, I guess because that's what Hollywood advertises, like, every party we're getting drunk, every party we're getting high. That's not the case, okay? Do what you feel comfortable doing, and do it with precaution, because you never know in today's society what stuff is being mixed with and what is going on. Be safe, and just be aware of your surroundings, like your parents always say. Like, at first I didn't really understand what that meant, but now that I've gotten a little bit, I don't want to say older, but I guess had a little more experience, I get what they mean. Like, you have to be aware of what's going on around you. But you can have a good time, but just be observant, be aware. Like, there are parties that go on from like 9 to 12, or there'll be these parties that go on during the weekends. That's fine, but make sure you know, if y'all go as a group, y'all leave as a group. We're not leaving you with anyone. We're not, doing that. And then you also have to be mature, because at the same time, I know in high school they tell you, oh, in college, no one's gonna run around for you. And that is 100% true. In college, they're not gonna run around for you. In high school, maybe. It depends on what type of student you are. But in college, it's you and again 1,000 other students, depending on your campus. So they can't just be like, oh, well, you haven't shown up to my class in a week, so why should I care about your grades? Next. And that's just what it's gonna be. And if you miss so many classes, that actually can mess up your financial aid. So that's something to take into consideration. If you're gonna go to a party, make sure, for me, I have this rule: if I'm gonna go to an event, especially one that I know I want to go to, make sure all your homework is done. Have your room somewhat organized. Like, if you need to do laundry and you know a good chunk of people are going to this event, try to do it either during the day or early in the morning, or while you're there at these events. That means there's more washers and there's more dryers available. I know that sucks, but just getting your responsibilities out of the way so you can fully enjoy this time. And then, if you know you have class tomorrow, then you can't stay the whole entire time. Unless that's how, your body works, where you just can run off of, like, I guess, however many hours of sleep. But for me, I just like to make sure that it's enough time for me to sleep and do whatever I need to do, so I'm still functioning. Even if my class is in the afternoon, your skin and your body still needs sleep, and it still needs water to stay functioning. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this informational video. I know it was kind of all over the place, but I tried to make it as organized as possible for the things that I get asked the most about. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!